This is General Dreams, and I'm Mike. I got the new Dalton clutch, installed that, and recorded the process and timed it. And I was going to try to show a lot of that, but the file size wound up being a little too big for me to post. So I'll make this little shorter version and just tell you about what happened and try to put in a couple clips from the install. Put it all in and set everything to the specs off of the sheet. I went with the 1.8 grams rivet in the end and 2 long set screws in the weights. I put the spring in, the secondary, for the 0 to 3,000 foot elevation and 30 to 32 inch tire. I bought the bigger spring, or actually it might be a lighter spring. I bought the other spring along with the kit because it's a little bit cheaper if you buy it at the same time. So in case I go to a bigger tire, or if I spend a bunch of time up at a higher elevation, I could swap the spring out in the secondary. So we put that all in and went fairly smooth, not a whole lot of hiccups. And then I bought this from HunterWorks, and I bought their belt also. Put that on, I cleaned the shivs, everything, put it all on, went to pull it out of the garage, right out of this spot here where it's parked behind me. Went to pull it out of here and seemed okay, engaged, pulled out here, went for a drive in the yard. Hear just a little bit of that squeal sound that I get sometimes when I had that Gates belt on, and on occasion I'd hear it with the Polaris belt when I had that on. So I did the low range break-in period driving around the yard, and the squeal sound started getting louder and louder. So that was irritating me. So I stopped, tried to film a little bit of that so you can hear the noise. It didn't come through on the camera real well. And I was very discouraged that night. So I pulled the thing back in the shop, closed the doors. I don't know what I'm going to do. Spend all that money on nothing. It's worse. I did notice coming down the hill, my driveway goes up and comes down pretty steep. So I came down that, and you do have a little bit of engine braking. That was nice. Didn't notice any belt slap. That was nice. So that's one of the big cures about doing this Dalton kit on the General XP. But then when I was at work, I was thinking about it, and I thought, I'm going to clean those shivs again, and I'm going to clean up the Polaris belt, make sure there's no shiny spots on it, because I did burn that one time. Not bad, but it did happen. And put that on and see what that does, because Dalton does say that this is all engineered based off of a Polaris belt. So I did that, and I saw a little trick on the internet where people take a block of sandpaper, so it's kind of stiff, and you start the machine with the belt off, and you just put your hand in there and you hold the block out of the way. You just kind of run it back and forth to clean the shivs. They did it with 80 grit. I thought that was a little extreme. To smooth it up and make sure there's nothing, it actually kind of roughs it up. But anyway, it'd be the same thing if you were going to send your shivs in to have them machined. So I hit that with some 220 real lightly, cleaned those up, cleaned up the belt. I went around those real good. I washed them in soap and water. I hit them with Scotch-Brite. I hit them with a little bit of light sandpaper around the edge, make sure that there was good grip. I did it to the Dalton. I did it to the Polaris belt and the HunterWorks belt, and put the Polaris belt in the machine, and then drove around the yard a little bit. No squeal sound. Seemed to work great. You can only do so much in the yard. There's just under 6 acres here, but when you're trying to run a machine around and really test it out, you need some more space. I can get up to, I took my sister for a ride through the yard and going from one end to the other, I think I hit 55, 58 or something like that. But, you know, I wanted to go to the dunes and really test it out. Find some of those tall hills. See if it'll hold the RPM all the way up the hill. Hit the flats and see how that was, because I did that a few weeks back when I was there. So hit the same areas and see how it compares. You know, sand will be a little different. So that was the plan for this weekend. I was going to do all that and then do a post after this of how it performed. But I heard today the state of Oregon is on fire, and we were going down to the Oregon dunes, and as of tomorrow morning they're telling me that the dunes are going to be closed until the 28th because of all this fire stuff. So we had to cancel the camping trip. So I don't know when I'll get to go do a good test of this clutch, but I put it in and you can definitely tell that the belt slap is gone. I will say that for sure. And we'll just have to wait for a future video to see how well it performs. I believe I'm going to be happy with it. I will try to take some little pieces of the other videos and put in after this so you can see little points along the way of how it went. I think that's about all I can say for now on this subject. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them. And we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so any help would be great. So if you like this video, please subscribe. Hit the notification button so that you'll get notices when I post a new video. I try to do one every week. And thanks again for watching. And we'll catch you next time. Alright, so I got this rod. Got some spacers in there. Got some different size washers here for the compression on that. I'm going to run this nut down and pull that thing off. Looks like a cool sunset out the window tonight. So let's go ahead and run this down. See how this goes. I wind up having to do this stuff too much. I'll probably make a handle like those ones that you buy, so you can spin that faster. So anyway, alright, so I gotta put slight compression on that. Make sure that's good and tight. There we go. Now I gotta grab a wrench, and let's see, that's marked there. And that's got a mark 2. Okay, where is the mark to let you know which way it goes? Oh, there's the X. Alright, where's the other X? Oh, it's drilled right there. Must be for balancing. And I'm not seeing the, oh, is that it in there? Alright, I gotta try to find something to mark that. And I'm not sure if I have something in here. I might not have anything to mark that with. Okay, so I'll go find a marker and get the wrenches to fit that. Okay, so the instructions say to put this rivet in here and smash it in the vise. What I don't like, you know, like most vices, it's got a rough surface there. Well, I guess I could turn that around and then it'd be smoother. But anyway, and it says you don't need to compress it more than 0.500. So that's compressed like that. And then I take my gills, zero them out, put that on there, measure that whole thing. I'm 0.467. Measure just the rivet, 0.464. So yeah, I didn't like the way it smashes that, but anyway, that's in there. It has just real slight movement. And I'll have to double check the instructions. It also says you don't compress it more than, there's no need to compress it more than that. I think the set screws, when they go in there, are going to bottom out into that. So right at the end, after I did this one, I grabbed two washers that are heavy. I set them on each side of this, and then I compressed it with that so that I have a smooth surface. And I'll try this from the beginning on this one, see how it works. If I don't like that, then I will go ahead and turn that plate around, which I have never done. I actually didn't even realize it was reversible, to be honest. Okay, making sure everything's clear. It's over the one side. Start cranking. Yeah, that's... And it's uneven pressure. Yeah, I don't like that. See how it's starting to bend these a little bit at an angle. It could just be the OCD part of me. It may not matter. Yeah, this one's a little bit too. I'm going to go ahead and see how big a deal it is to turn those around so I have a flat surface. And maybe we'll try this again. Well, like I mentioned a minute ago, I've never turned those around. Didn't even actually realize they could. Pull them off and they don't turn around. It's got screws that are countersunk in there. Turn it around, it doesn't have that. But both of these were loose. So that being tighter will probably help this process. So I'm going to try this what I was doing again. This part of this is weird. I wish they just had something that screwed in here for the tip weight. I'm not really digging this method here myself. Maybe that's standard. Real common amongst all the brands, I don't know. Alright, let's see what that does. A little bit of pressure. Get that thing back over there. There we go. Okay, I got, oh, I had it. I got that against there. Now, I'll go ahead and just get this thing set. Okay, there's a little bit there. See if I can slide this spacer in there because I don't like the roughness. I need to get some little aluminum pads for this thing. Anyway, alright. Struggling a little bit here, my OCD ways. Put that over there. That's clear. Turn that. Still turn free, make sure I'm not hitting the weight. Whatever you do, you don't want to hit the flyweight. That looks much more sanitary. This here's nice and smooth and intact. That first one I did's got all these dimple marks in it. Yeah, I don't like that one as much. I like this. Kind of pain in the butt, but I like that. Alright. Make sure that's 0. Put that on there. Oh yeah. A little bit smaller. Looks good. That's gonna stay. Alright, that worked. And that one. One more. No, I may put, wow. I mean, these things are actually put in dents. See if we can see that. I'm actually putting dent marks in the washer. That's some force. This is a steel rivet. Oh, by the way, I'm using the 1.8 gram because I currently still just have stock 30-inch tires, and I'm at 0 to 3,000 foot most of the time right now. This year, probably when I go hunting, I'll be up at a little over 4,000 feet. I might go do some other playing, I don't know, see how the year pans out up on the mountain. But it says 30-inch tires and occasional visits is still the 1.8 gram rivet. They're calling these rivets, by the way. Okay. It's so weird how it 4.64, make sure I'm 0. .72. It's got just a little bit of the tip right there sticking out, but it did say there's no need to go beyond. Put this on the other side of the vise, see if this side of the vise is flatter. I don't know if you can see in the camera, but I do have a broken part on the vise right there. I've never noticed it cause any issue, but I've never done this. That broke from doing a U-joint. And I got this vise because my last one broke. The whole vise broke doing a U-joint. So guess what? I don't like doing U-joints. They have a tendency to break my vices. Now that looks like that's squaring it up a little better. That's a little bit better. I like that better. Feels nice and snug. Feels nice and snug. They're all in there the same direction. I'll go ahead and see if I can clean this one up a little bit. And then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so reading all the different options, it sounds like putting the 2 long set screws, which are these ones, in is going to work for the majority of what I'm doing. So we're just going to start with that setup, and the nice thing is we can always fine tune it. And I think we're going to be putting the blue spring in the secondary instead of the white one. The kit I got, the white one is what comes with it, and it is for over 3,000 feet or bigger tires. So I bought the other spring also. I'm running stock 30-inch tires still, and it does even talk about sand duning and soft terrain and occasional hauling or carrying 4 passengers. Like I say, most of them, we're talking about this setup with 2 long set screws. There was one at the top, which was actually the 2-seater, but they said a lot of people will run that. It has 3 long set screws. So if you're running that setup and then you were going to go up in elevation or sand duning or something, you could just pop the cover off and pull 1 set screw out of each one of these weights. It'd be interesting to see how easy that actually is on the machine. So you run these in till they bottom out. It doesn't really tell you how much pressure to put on it though. I don't like that. I wish I knew. That one is more than that first one. And that one's pretty good too. So I'll give this one just a hair more. Okay. So those are in there. And this one here had just a slight wiggle. This is that first rivet I did. And it still moves. So the set screws don't actually hit that. And it's interesting. Yeah, that's definitely bottomed out. And be careful, you don't want to strip the threads. Okay, definitely bottomed out. So I might do something to this one a little more to make that not move. Okay, so a little easier in here. So now I will put the second one in. I'm going to do it on each one so that I know they're all loaded. They're all the same. Very important to have the same weights in all of them, or I'll throw it all off big time. So that gives me 4 weights left. So they must give you 1 spare in case you lose one. And then we have the little short ones also that you can put in there. Alright, I'll go ahead and finish tightening these up, and that's probably about as far as I'm going to go tonight. So I will stop my timer. I'm just a little bit over an hour on my timer. Oh, but I didn't have that timer started before my son called. So I'll have to check the first part of the video. I'll add that to it. And we'll see how much this all actually adds up to. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Okay, so we're back at it the next day. I don't know if I'll get it done tonight either. Got out here pretty late. So, you're unscrewing the bolt that holds the weights in. on. I'm just going to go ahead and loosen them all before I start pulling them out. That might not be a good thing. I turned that and that weight went up. It should spin freely in there on that bolt. See how that weight's up in the air now? That's probably the one that I thought was hanging up a little bit last night. Might have been a slight bit of drag on that one. So that was that one. That was that one. Actually, I think I want to keep them in order for now. Okay, so that is still the stock spring there on top. Looks like I didn't charge the phone enough. I'm using the phone for the screen. To the Osmo there. Okay. $35.69, whatever that means. We're inside there. Wow. I need to go look at how many hours I've got. And yeah, that already started a little wear in there. I wish they would have come up with that clutch kit sooner. I could have prolonged the life of that clutch quite a bit farther. That sucks. Yeah, it's got just a little bit of, yeah, both sides on that one. Damn. Nice design, Polaris. I mean, why wouldn't you put a thrust washer in there? Because you want to sell more parts? I don't know. Yeah. So that sucks. Okay. Anyway. There's those. And, so I should find some Scotch-Brite, and I'll just clean those a little bit, because I gotta reuse the stud. So we will just take this here and just clean that a little bit, just to make sure there's no crud on it. And then we will slip those new weights in and throw the new spring on. So there's the old spring. Here's the new spring. Wow. That's quite a bit shorter. Well, it's firmer off the bat, but you gotta compress this one down to that point, then push, to be fair. So what if I was to push both at the same time? There's a... That's interesting. I did not expect that to be shorter. It's quite a bit. Feels like it's pretty close to the same diameter of the spring material itself. Okay, well, I need to blow this thing off some more. There's some crud in there still. So I will go ahead and polish these up, inspect them, and blow this off some more, and start putting that thing back together.